So hey everyone, today is my 9-month review of the Elantra N Line. I've owned this car for 9 months now, and I've really had a lot of time to absorb, what it's about. I've been able to ride in traffic every day, of course, going in and out of Boston. I've done some sporty driving with it, not necessarily track time. Definitely had my fair share of fun driving. So with that being said, let's just get into the interior at first. So obviously, we love this car. We love how it feels. We think the interior is nice and spacious. Obviously, we're stuck behind a school bus right now, which sucks, but so first off, I just want to say there are a couple things that bother me as far as this car goes. Just owning it for a while, I've kind of come to terms with what I like and what I don't like. So first thing, what I really don't like is my Apple CarPlay is so spotty. Anyone who owns one of these cars will know exactly what I'm talking about. Most of the time it'll work and it'll be just fine. There's not really a ton of interruptions, and then you'll just have a day where you'll get non-stop interruptions until you press this tiny little button in the in your center control stack. You can get it with like a pen or like a tip of your glass of your sunglasses. That's what I usually do. Or just, any tiny little piece like a pin or something. Yeah. So, and what that does is it resets your head unit. And then usually it works fine. But essentially there shouldn't be any interruptions to this. I shouldn't have to keep hitting like acknowledge and then reconnecting my Apple CarPlay every time. It should just work seamlessly, at least for the most part. Talk about something that I really love about this car. One thing I do love is the amount of stuff you get for, I bought mine for $23,000 US. I have no deal with Hyundai. It's not like, they're sponsoring me in any sort of way. I straight up bought this car myself. Ooh, big branch in the big branch in the road. All right, so yeah, I straight up bought this car myself, $23,000, which, at least from what I've heard on the forums, is a pretty good deal for one of these. You're going to take whatever way this bus isn't going. Okay. So along with talking about value, so obviously, yeah, we get heated seats, we have a sunroof, we have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, we have a wireless charger, which is great. I love the styling of this car. It's pretty comfortable to sit in for the most part. I will say that if you're going on a long drive, or if you just have a really long commute and you're, not a skinny person, the seat can get a little uncomfortable. Yeah, my back is a little sensitive, but obviously, everyone fits a little different inside a car seat, and this one definitely would need either just wider bolstering or adjustable bolstering. Going back to something I don't like about this car would be when I'm in automatic in sport mode. So obviously I have a dual clutch transmission for anyone who hasn't seen any other videos of my own car. I have the dual clutch, and so whenever I'm in sport mode, sometimes in like about 3rd or 4th gear, it will just hold it way too long. Like, it'll think I'm trying to, drive sporty when I'm just accelerating, and then it'll just be in like 4,000 to 5,000 RPMs when I'm, maybe putting in like 30% throttle. And I'm sure I'll get a comment that says, yes, you can fix that by just shifting yourself. And that is true, but not all the time do I want to shift myself. That's why I got the dual clutch. So at this point of my 9-month journey with this Elantra N Line, I'm at 20,000 miles. And as far as maintenance and stuff like that goes, I've just had the regularly scheduled maintenance. I haven't had anything wrong with the car. At one point, I did think that something was wrong with the dual clutch, whether it be just a clutch slipping or something was going on, but it was just a normal noise, normal characteristic of the DCT as far as what my mechanic told me. And obviously what's nice is with just the standard coverage for this car, you get 30,000 miles of free maintenance. So all these oil changes and tire rotations and whatnot are all free, which is honestly pretty convenient and nice that I don't have to worry. You know, this whole car ownership experience so far has been really hands-off, which is what I was craving since my last car was completely hands-on in the so my dealer for some reason put my tire pressure like super high, so I'm gonna have to go fix that at some point. But with that being said, there's definitely a lot of traction issues with these front wheel drive cars. Obviously, you know, when you have a front wheel drive car with a lot of power, you tend to get a lot of wheel hop, which is what you heard back there. And so it's kind of frustrating, you know, because you want to be able to keep up with some of these rear wheel drive sports cars that are in, you know, this price range or just slightly above, and you just can't. It's just tough when, you know, your front wheels are doing everything. Same time, you know, being able to have front wheel drive and get snow tires, like, it's just as good if, like, it's almost just as good as all-wheel drive in the snow if you have snow tires, whereas if you had rear-wheel drive, you can't really drive in this area in the snow. I mean, you can, but it's just not practical. So other things I really like in this car, the small details. You know, I got the checkered flag in my dash, and then I have, you know, the N on the seats, and just, it's not too badged up. At the same time, like, there's just little things that, you know, make you appreciate the styling. I absolutely love the shifter too. I think it's one of the prettiest shifters ever. I mean, just please ignore my girlfriend's scrunchie on it, but yeah, I just overall think that the design of this car, interior and exterior, was just perfectly executed. And, you know, my last car I reviewed was that Mustang, and, you know, for a Mustang GT, that's about between $30,000 and $40,000 depending on your market, depending on mileage and all that. And with that being said, that car, if you would just press on the dashboard at pretty much any point, you'd hear cracking, creaking, and all sorts of noise. There's only one spot in this entire car where I can hear any sort of noise, and that's like right here. If I try over here, nothing. Here, nothing. Over here, nothing. Here, nothing. Here, nothing. Like, I just think that, you know, this car was very well put together, and I really do appreciate the fact that, you know, the build quality is so high for $20,000, $23,000. So let's talk about the Hyundai BlueLink app, which is where you can start your car, set your temperatures, and do all that, you know, just from your phone, which is great. You can unlock it, lock it, it's awesome. The only problems I do have with it, number one being, is the commands take a little bit longer than I would hope. I mean, obviously, if you're in a more urban area, like I live in, you know, not rural, but, you know, New Hampshire, I don't live in the city, is what I'm trying to say. And actually, we'll go left. I don't live in the city. Oh, look, Nashua Hyundai, that's where I bought my car too. We'll turn off the blinker so I can talk here. So, obviously, with the BlueLink app, it's really nice in the fact that you can start your car and everything. The commands do take a little longer than I would hope. And also, if you start your car, it can only be on for 10 minutes. This must be some sort of, you know, law that, you know, you can't have your car idling. Obviously, in New Hampshire, it's actually a law. You're not supposed to have your car idling. So it's probably just some sort of regulation that they have to stand by. But also, with that being said, so it will shut off after 10 minutes. But another problem with it is if you go start your car in your app and then you go and say, like, put your backpack or something in the car and then close the, like, door, Say you put your backpack in like your passenger door and you don't sit down in your driver's seat and put your foot on the brake pedal. What will happen is the car will just shut off after like 15 to 30 seconds. I think it's the weirdest thing. I don't know why it does it. So with that being said, let's wrap up this video by just saying that I do not at all regret the car buying decision I made. For this price point at the time, you know, $23,000 obviously got you a lot more car than it gets you now. But with that being said, I think that even back then I made the best decision I could possibly have gotten. Like, the competitors in this price range, new and used, are not nearly as good as this car in my opinion. This last thing I wanted to mention too is, okay, so I can't really replicate it in this very moment. I was ideally going to replicate it in this video, but I'm just not in an area where I can. So say there's a 2-lane merge onto a highway, right? And you're turning left onto the on-ramp. So you put on your left directional and there's a lane right next to you, correct? So in that case, and the reason why I know this is because it happens to me every morning. I am merging and there's a dual lane, and there's plenty of instances where there's 2 lanes turning onto another street. But so in that case, your blind spot monitor actually will beep at you, and it like mutes your music and it just beeps at you a couple times, even though you're not trying to merge into the lane right next to you. You're both just trying to merge onto the next road. And so it's so frustrating. Like, and the only way to turn it off is to completely turn off the blind spot monitoring, so there's no longer a little symbol on the mirrors when there's a car in your blind spot. Which, my ideal scenario would be to have the blind spot monitor light come on if there's someone in my blind spot, but if I'm putting on my directional, I don't want any sort of beeping at me. But you can't have that light on without having the beeping. Obviously there are some things that bother me about the car that I did mention, but overall I am happy with the decision I made, and I just want you guys to know that if you're looking for a car in this price range, this is a good option, if not a great option. Do I want more power? Yes. Do I want more luxury? Yes. But do I think that $23,000 is put mostly into this car and that there's not a lot of profit built into it? Yes. I think that they did a really good job in giving consumers a good value for an entry-level Hyundai car. So with that being said, thank you for watching this video, and let me know if you guys have any questions. Please comment them below. I do love to answer your questions. Also follow me at auto_joe on Instagram, and have a good day. Please subscribe, please like, and peace out.